Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up live show. Solly here in the Killhouse. Big Randy is joining for the first time here. Hello, Big Randy.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, wonderful. That is the sound playing from my board. Apologies for that. TC is here.
I'm here. I'm just Solly's right.
When I run the ones and twos, I just get something always goes wrong. So I'm not the master here. DJ Pie is not here today, so we got a lot of balls in the air here. Randy, first time joining the show here, just this week, I should say, throwing grenades, if I may say, to English fans today on Twitter, just unprovoked attacks. What's got you fired up about the Open Championship so far?
Blokes, anti-bloke.
Something just snapped. You know, I pride myself in sticking to the facts. And if people don't like that, then that's their prerogative. But, you know, I'm just so sick of Paul Casey. Like, I'm sick. It starts with Paul Casey. I'm so sick of seeing him, you know, around the top 10 in majors that he's not really in contention at. And it just got me thinking, like, what Englishmen, they don't do anything. They don't do anything. They're like UT basketball, right? They do less with more than any other golfing nation. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of all of it. I love Fleetwood. I love Matty Fitzpatrick. You know, this is not a personal take.
Team Rose is going to be pissed.
Team Rose, the last 25 years since Sir Nick's last one. It's just not good enough. It's unacceptable, and I had to get it off my chest.
Well, before you got the Brits right. This is the 1 week that the Brits might actually be watching this week, you know, with it not being a late finish, and you choose this week to do it, and I greatly appreciate that. Before we get going too far,
I would like them to know I'm from the Cambridge Union style of debate, facts only. I'm a very classy debater, so I hope they don't, you know, think I'm just an American troll or something.
Hit a little bit of gain on your mic while TC tells us a little bit about our friends at Wine Access.
Randy, I'm going to throw some facts at you. Wine Access is where we buy our wine.
Use wine facts.
Yeah, use wine facts. Wine Access is our resource for buying wine, and but their offerings actually go beyond wine. And with the Tokyo Olympics coming up, if you're just drinking sake with sushi, you're missing out, which I'm missing out. I need to get deeper into the sake game. Eduardo from Wine Access, who ran Morimoto's global beverage program for 10 years, that's, I believe, Iron Chef Morimoto. Randy, I know you're a big fan.
Of course, you don't have to tell me that.
He put together a piece on their website with some interesting sake pairings. It's at wineaccess.com/NLU sake. That's SAKE. Again, wineaccess.com/NLU sake. And from barbecue and pizza to Mexican and Thai curry, he's got all sorts of pairings on there. Bacon cheeseburger with the Hirai Junmai. I know Poosh is just going to roast me for all these pronunciations too. Smoked barbecue one. There's a Thai curry, Taka Chio, Katafune.
Soft vowels.
Yeah. Grilled tomahawk steak and Amayo Sukasa Black. Yeah, there's all sorts of sakes on there. I'm going to get deep in the sake scene for the Olympics here. So hopefully you guys do too. And then, of course, there's still the 15% off your first 3 orders with Wine Access when you go to wineaccess.com/NLU. And yeah, just great selection on there, and just stock up for kind of this summer stretch and into the fall.
Randy, we got a question from Ulsterman 1999. How does Louis finish T2 from here?
I mean, let me reverse the question and put it on you guys. We might be getting ahead of ourselves, but is Louis going to win?
No, because Spieth's going to win.
Spieth, I'm not. I will never waver. Spieth is going to win.
Oh, you'll never waver.
I will never waver. Spieth is going to win, right?
You betrayed him 3 times.
No, we're not doing this again. We put this to bed last night. Randy, is Spieth still going to win?
Yeah, well, I think he and Morikawa are both going to win. If you're asking for my honest opinion.
That's the biggest threat right now is Morikawa, I would say.
You say Morikawa more than Spieth or more than Louis?
I would. I mean, when Louis rolled in the eagle in 14, I was like, "Ooh, all right, this might be like the Open Championship runaway." And then he turned right around and bogeyed the next hole, and it was like, okay, I can start to sense how he's going to just slide back. He's probably going to come one shot short. yet again. I've seen this movie many, many times. I'm with Randy on this one. I'm not. This is the least threatened I've felt by Oosthuizen at any point, and I have to thank him. He's got me in first place in my DraftKings qualifier for the Fantasy Championship Series, first out of 180. And he's going to take me to the title. We're going to Vegas, baby. But so I owe him for that.
I legitimately think he is going to Vegas.
I'm probably going to win. I really am actually going to win this thing. But Big Randy, I think you're in 50th. Sorry to.
He was up there beating you for a while today.
His guys were playing in the morning. He was never beating me. First of all, he has Rory on his team.
You're beating Whistles Go Woo.
I am. I'm beating everybody. But I'm going to
make a big run.
I'm going to ask you to answer for Rory.
This is a Rory free zone. I don't want to talk about Rory. I don't want to mention his name. It's just like it sucks. He needs to retire.
Asked a different way. I actually might support that. At Matt Pell 455578897. I think it's his phone number in his handle. How low does Louis have to go tomorrow for you to comfortably pick him as the winner before Sunday, Randy?
I think he'd have to be like 8 shots clear.
8.
That's
a lot. That's a lot
on an easy golf course like this. Sure.
I feel like we're characterizing Louis as somebody that chokes away majors a lot, which is not the case. It just literally doesn't fall his way every time since the one that he won. What's an example of a choke?
Well,
the drive at Torrey.
He doesn't have like notorious chokes, but I think you're carrying a little bit of water for him. Like he also just doesn't win. And so, no credit for not having like very public chokes like Spieth at Augusta. But he just doesn't do enough to win. It's not like he's, getting outkicked at the line all the time. I'm not buying that.
You got to go snatch it. But at the same time, like, I don't think 8's a lot. Like a lot of things would have to not fall his way to like lose like a 4-shot lead. Like you're characterizing him as a choker in that instance.
Yeah, if you're saying a 7-shot lead wouldn't be good enough for him going into the final round.
No, you asked me where I would feel comfortable. That's a different question than like could he win with a 3-shot lead. But where I would feel comfortable and like, oh yeah, Louis for sure gonna win is like 8 shots.
Odds right now. Oosthuizen's plus 225, Spieth is plus 400, Morikawa plus 450, DJ plus 800, Rahm plus 1400, Koepka 1400, Scheffler 1400, and then falling all the way back to Paul Casey at plus 4,000 after that. I know you got a Casey bet, I'm sure, but
yeah. Okay, yeah. If anybody wants to light their money
Fratelli
on betting on Casey, just mail it to us instead.
Fratelli and Scheffler not even.
They weren't even. Scheffler was in there, okay. and Scheffler was plus 1,400, but
no respect for Daniel Von Tonder.
Fratelli's plus 5,000. Von Tonder's plus 13,000 right now. 130 to 1.
130 to 1.
Von Tonder to win right
4
now.
back. Huh.
That's going to be a very confusing.
What did you say Grillo was?
I was going to say Von Tonder is going to be a very confusing one on the Wikipedia page. Grillo is plus 6,500.
Grillo is such a good ball striker.
He is.
It's crazy.
He's
Andres Romero 2.0.
Exactly. And Andres would make runs. That's
he was like a freight train coming. He would, he'd be 9 under on a 12-hole stretch, and then he'd have a sloppy double, and then a couple pars in a row, and maybe close with a birdie.
He'd be hitting it in a berm or off a wall somewhere. Oh, the best. I miss that guy.
The big thing with Grillo has always been putting. I'm going to try to put some numbers to this.
These greens kind of
it neutralizes them a little bit. Things, yeah, right? It doesn't seem. I don't know. Again, we don't have stats to go off this, so we're kind of winging it.
Thanks to NTT data.
Or we could do what Brando does.
They have a wall. They have a data wall. They've built a wall. They won't let you in.
Yeah, NTT data is not giving us any data. This is the worst sponsorship ever. They're literally blocking us out from the data. Yet Grillo was 185th in 2019, 192nd in 2020, 10th randomly in 2018. But in recent years has really, really struggled with the putter. But he has always been able to hit the shit out of it.
He putts.
Morikawa, I feel like the afternoon was so busy. The waves were, first of all, very uneven. But Morikawa's second round 64 seems like it was a couple days ago at this point. Threatened history today. He could have very easily shot 61. We effectively threw the Twitter jinx on him, but that was about as clinical of a round of golf as you could imagine. Would we be more excited about it if we had just watched that finish?
I mean, I was pretty like,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but as far as
I
his
think
chances
I think
going
the bogey on 15 kind of put a damper on things too, and then made a good par putt down the stretch there. I think on what 17 or 18, but yeah, it was just clinical. Like there was nothing too flashy about it. It was just really good golf. I don't know. It was, but like it almost felt, and like maybe I'm just making this up, but it almost felt like a foregone conclusion yesterday that he was going to come steaming in. Like he seemed like he played solid yesterday, going out in the morning today and just asserting himself.
And there's probably something too, like not just putting on a different putting surface that, you know, guys are not as used to putting on, that, you know, he is giving shots back to the field almost always putting.
And he's using the stranger.
He's got a stranger?
Like, no, he's got a new grip again this week.
Another new one?
I think he's just a new grip every week.
He uses throughout the round. He'll claw it in closer and then more traditional farther away.
Huh. Yeah,
that worries me.
Which, you know, whatever works, right?
But I think to this point, like his iron play is good as much as it is talked about. Like the staggering separation he has from the rest of the field really kind of hit me today, because you can look at the numbers. He's averaging 1.406 or something strokes gained approach, and second on that list is Paul Casey, somewhere around 0.9. So you're like, yeah, you know, like whatever, 0.6 shots. That's 2.5 shots better than the second best guy per tournament. And Paul Casey is that far like distance above the 55th best iron player. Like that's how good Morikawa has been. He's
cat-like. I
think it's the 4th best ever strokes gain approach season that in the history of the PGA Tour since 2003, I guess, since they've invented ShotLink. Of course, the top 3 being the Cat. And it's just kind of like seeing that is like he drives it plenty good enough. It's obviously the putting that has held him back. But like, God, how has he not had just a monster season hitting it that good? But man,
I'll tell you who's a little bit of a odd entrant in here to the first page of the leaderboard is Dylan Fratelli, because you're talking about a course that has only 2 par 5s. They're not really, you can't really overpower them or anything like that. And Fratelli's more of like just send it off the tee, not gaining a bunch of shots on approach. I think he's, up in the hundreds last year and this year as far as approach strokes gained. And
he's added like 20 yards of distance in the last year quietly.
Yeah. And he's 7 under, he's T4 right now. And really got here late too. Like went home from Quad Cities to Austin and then flew to London. I think he got there on Tuesday. So
is that 4 South Africans I'm counting in the top 10? There's been quite the South African representation. 5.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'll tell you what's interesting about Fratelli too is he's doing all his damage on the back 9, which is I don't know if that's
it's technically,
but
it's technically playing easier.
Is it?
It doesn't seem like it should. And
I saw the stat today. It was crazy. It was like, something. It was like 150 stroke difference.
The back is playing, and today it played a shot easier. Yeah, so basically a shot per player, a shot easier, 150 plus stroke difference than the front 9 did. And yesterday it was closer to a half shot, but I'm not exactly sure what that'd be. But a couple easier pins. But yeah, that finishing stretch, the last 5 holes for the last 5 holes played under par today, and 5 of the last 7.
A couple funnel pins on that back.
I know
they were good. They're not funnel pins. Come on. They were like up near some of the most dramatic slopes.
You know what? You can't spell funnel without the word fun, though.
It is a little more fun on a golf course that, if I may say, is not blowing me away. I'm going to need the St. George's defenders to step up, because it's quirky. Quirky was like one of the perks of it, and like none of the weird shit seems to really be happening.
It's just not bouncy.
Oh, it's too soft.
Well, you're the one that was coming at us for bitching about that at Winged Foot.
But Winged Foot is like a very solid design, has very interesting pins, interesting green contours, and the greens were playing for 75% of the tournament. The greens played pretty interestingly.
50%, but
50 at most.
62%. Yes.
But
agreed.
No, I think some of it's just weather too, right? Like,
oh my God.
The like the bunkering would be a lot more penal, I think, if it was bouncier. And like the bunkers get bigger, the bouncier and firmer it gets, and the windier it gets, right?
Yeah. It seems like
we're just not getting the full experience.
We're not. And it seems like greater than 50% of the time in this championship, it just seems like, well, we didn't get the weather. So like the course didn't really, do much of anything. And
that's exactly what I was about ready to say is it's a shame, but a lot of these open roto courses seem like they're so weather dependent, or they're so soft if the weather doesn't cooperate.
Maybe it's like the Pipe Masters or the Eddie. They only hold it if the conditions are right.
I like that, TC. I like that.
And then if the conditions aren't right, they just go to Carnoustie or something.
Yeah, didn't we have a bus idea for the U.S. Open? Weren't we going to bus all the participants somewhere? I feel like you were championing.
I tuned out for like a half a second, and I'm so totally lost now.
I mean, tomorrow is going to be what, 12 mile-an-hour winds again. Allegedly a tiny bit.
12? They better slow those greens down.
Windier. That's the thing. It's like, why are the greens so like not bouncy? Right? I know they've had rain and stuff like that, but it's been dry this week.
Yeah, it has to only get bouncier, right? There's no way they put water on them tonight.
But again, like this morning, they basically said, and maybe this is just because of the draw. They didn't want Jay to be all up on them, but they were exactly the same bounciness this morning, in like within 0.1 speed wise this morning. So maybe they ramp it up tonight. And again, that's not really the RNA's thing, right? They don't manipulate the golf course.
Isn't there something too, like you're trying to get the first 2 days to play as similar as possible, right? With the draws, and I guess it's not as dramatic when you don't have guys starting off both, you don't have to flip starting off both sides and everything, but they got no excuse for not putting some pins in some precarious situations tomorrow. I'd say closer to edges, closer to slopes, watching balls funnel into bunkers. Like 16 was a pretty interesting little pin today. 15 was a really good pin. 9 was a good pin. But I want to see him, not necessarily, I'm not saying it's like super diabolical, but just put it like, hey, a great shot's going to make a birdie, and one that kind of gets rejected could very well be bogey. Because when Bryson hit it in the bunker, I forget what hole it was, he hit it like up against the lip of a bunker with like a somewhat of a wedge into a hole in the back nine. And I was like, that's honestly like the first shot I could think of, first approach I could think of that has gone into a bunker this week, which is what I consider to be the main challenge that comes from approach shots. And I don't know, it seems weird that it would only take, you have to have wind for guys to hit approach shots into bunkers. That doesn't seem like how it should be.
No, I agree. And it's like, it's not like the wind is going to ramp up next week, or it's not like it was windy the couple of days before the tournament. Like I'm going through the forecast over the next 10 days and it's the same fucking thing every day. Yeah. It's like 8 to 12 mile-an-hour winds from the south or the west.
How about our man Spieth?
He looked great. Greller looked great. I think he did a great job today. He had that look in his eye. Spieth's approach game is just fucking dialed, and he's got that bleeder, that little bleeder cut going off the tee, which I love. Super repeatable.
That was like the least he could have got out of today. It felt like 67. He played the last 6 holes, 1 over. And that was a stretch of holes, like we said. The 4 of the last 6 holes were playing, averaging under par. He could have easily gotten to 11. I think made some putts today, but had a couple that just hit lips. Missed one that really, I think he really would say that he should have made. That honestly, he played so good and didn't get a lot out of it. That's the first concern I've got. Was like, man, I have a feeling we're going to look back at that Saturday afternoon or Friday afternoon and be like, man, he really wasted a couple shots there on that back nine.
I'd much rather him be there than scrapping one around and squeezing every shot out of a shitty ball striking round, right?
It just kind of almost feels like we're due for a scrappy day tomorrow, right? And then we're going to look up and we're going to be like a couple shots off the lead and just kind of, I don't know. It's starting to. He's still my guy to win, but it's starting to smell like a T3.
Get out of here! Come on, get out of here. He's fine. He's solo third.
Shot 67 today. Get out of here.
He's essentially one off the lead. Like he could not be in a better spot. You can't win the tournament on Friday.
God, what a beautiful little subtle dig there at Louis. Just you don't even see Louis' name on the leaderboard when you look at it, do you?
No, I don't. I really don't think he's gonna win.
Can we talk DJ? I feel like you guys have been dogging DJ lately.
I feel like DJ at 1 is the best value right now.
Well, we talked about in the preview, he was 23 to 1 or whatever, but going into the tournament, 7th lowest odds on the sheet, which was something we hadn't seen in the last, I don't know, 5 years maybe in majors for DJ.
Seven birdies today.
It was this leaderboard, man, for the golf course not delivering a ton of thrills and kind of, it could bounce this way, make bogey, bounce this way, goes birdie. That usually separates players really well. I don't really feel like we have that. It has separated out top players because this is as good of a top 15 as I can really recall after 2 rounds. Usually things are still sorting out after 2 rounds. There's a couple guys up there that I don't expect to stick around, but man, it got heavy.
Name names.
Van Tonder, Grillo's not going to stick around. Andy Sullivan not going to stick around. Harding not going to stick around. All the manipulators, they're not sticking around. All right, I'll just come out and say it. How about that?
It's crazy how many bogeys there have been on number 3.
I think that win's been tough.
And 2 guys, Scam Tringale, Big Tone.
You're gonna have to apologize for Tringale.
What do you mean?
He's having a great tournament. He's T12. You're all over Tringale all the time.
He's not gonna win.
No, of course not.
That's my whole thing. Is he's been on tour for like a decade plus, and he just never does anything remarkable. He just racks up money.
And of course, this week you've been blowing up our slack. Like, look at Big Tone. He's T17.
Right now, Big Tone's such an afterthought. Total non-factor.
No, he shot 66 today, guys. He had a couple stumbles in the middle of the round, but big putt coming down the stretch for par. Made a couple big putts. Big putt on 15. I was impressed watching Big Tone. Big Tone, if he could putt, he'd be the links master.
Links master. He is the links master.
So now, if you could putt, plays for Finau now, because we'd have a lot different conversations over the last 2 years. If
you've been dogging the hell out of Finau,
he hasn't been playing good.
I like needling it.
You just go opposite whatever I do.
What was the scoring average today, Solly?
I'd have to. It's behind the data wall. I don't know. I can't get the data.
We can't get to
it.
I honestly don't know how to get to it. This is the worst collection of stats I can recall for a major.
I almost feel like, it felt like 68, 69 was right around par, at least for anybody that matters.
Scoring average today is not quite 1 shot over par, right? Because the back 9 played under par.
Unacceptable.
It's 0.4, 70.4 basically. And then yesterday was 71 essentially.
Didn't realize they actually called it the NTT data wall.
No, that's what I mean. It's a data wall. Yeah, they built the wall.
For as good as the website is so good, like, and all the content they've created, all the YouTube stuff they've done is also good.
The app's pretty clunky.
The app, yeah, sure, maybe a bit clunky, but I see people out there like charting exactly where balls are and stuff. I'm like, what the hell are they doing with all this information? Share it with us. Come on.
It's behind the data wall.
I know.
Scheffler.
Before we get going any further, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Whoop. You can go to whoop.com, use promo code NOLAYINGUP for 15% off. We make this point a lot, but I want to emphasize this. I've been obviously sleeping less than 6 hours this week, getting up early. I'm sure, Randy, you can probably give us a similar report. I know you haven't been sleeping really at all. You've been on the night shift for us, watching the 1:30 cock premieres. So you would think, all right, I got 9 hours of sleep. That is way better than 6 hours of sleep. Turns out your body can recover a lot better in a 6 hour period if you're ready for bed, if your heart rate is down, if your heart rate variability is up. You can get a lot better sleep. Your body can rest a lot better than just being in bed for a long period of time, which is something I'm learning. I expected to see some horrible recovery scores this week. Haven't really been drinking. Have been waking up, just feeling pretty good. And the Whoop has been checking out. The Whoop gives you a lot of personalized insights like that. Helps give you information on your sleeping habits. If you're ever wondering why you're tired, you can probably link this to your heart rate not calming down overnight and things like that. There's a lot of different ways you can address it. They got a podcast that helps you address that. All kinds of helpful information, how to use the information they provide you. So whoop.com, use promo code NOLAYINGUP for 15% off. That'll save you a lot of money on the website. Cannot speak highly enough about this product. And yeah, it's been surprisingly good feedback this week. I was a little scared to look at it, but it's been great.
Quality over quantity, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'm learning that. Yeah. I'm learning that.
Amen.
Also, just don't drink alcohol right before bed. That's a very bad thing for you, it turns out.
I had a burger last night.
I
woke up this morning. It was like I'd run a marathon.
For eating a burger?
Big, like double double burger.
That made you sleep better?
No, awful.
Oh, okay.
No, like I ran
Oh,
a
I thought-
marathon like before I
Gotcha.
woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Not good.
Randy, that
Not
ice cream
good.
before bed, not good.
Not good. Guys, I was on the strain train last night.
Yeah. What
I
were
got,
you doing,
I got
big
over
guy?
17. Oh my God. I got a great workout in yesterday.
All right. I didn't know if
Yeah.
you're going somewhere else with that. So
The single scene is fertile out in Denver.
I wish.
Mile High Club.
all right. Talk to me about Scheffler, TC.
Listen, I didn't see too much of it. I was kind of busy this afternoon, just tying up a few loose ends before a trip. But 7 under, 66 today. I don't know. I've never really pictured Scheffler as a great like Open Championship player because he's such a high ball hitter. Bogeyed his second hole today, and then all birdies and pars after that. So he's a precocious contender, man. I think he's between the PGA at Harding and he's like wise beyond his years, I think.
I think legit on other than that's why I'm hoping for some spice. I want to see Scheffler stick around, but I'm hoping for some spice this weekend in terms of setup, just because I feel like the only thing you really need to know about this links golf course is like how to hit how to flight different shots off fescue. Like, and the shots aren't really requiring that much steering into. You can hit pretty stock shots around this golf course. So like seeing some guys up there that you wouldn't expect to see, if you're not expecting to see Scottie, I'm not surprised because I think it's playing like a kind of like a PGA Tour golf course more than it is like a links golf course.
Yeah, I mean maybe a lot different than a PGA Tour golf course, but a shell of what it could be.
What other than like driving it really far, what works there would also work here, right? You're not required to hit the 8-iron under the wind for the 112 shot right now as of now. So if the wind had blown 25 miles an hour and high ball hitters without a lot of links experience like Scheffler were up there, I would be surprised more than I am. Like, you know what? You can kind of just hit stock shots. Randy, any reaction to that?
Well, I couldn't have said it any better myself. I enjoy seeing Scottie there, though. It's he's got a lot of game. It just feels like he's going to cash in a big tournament here sooner or later. I don't think this is his week, but backing up the Scottish Open with this performance, it's exciting to see him doing well in different settings.
Marcel Siem sticking around.
Big fist pump guy.
Yeah.
Oh my
anchoring?
God.
No, he's not
No,
anchoring.
he's fine.
Okay. Definitely not
Come
anchoring.
on, get that out of here. I see you're just trying to drum up controversy.
No, I'm just asking the questions.
What did Porter said? He looks like a guy that would put up 27, 9, and 8 against a U.S. guard in the Olympics here in a couple of weeks.
Speaking of the Olympics, how about JaVale McGee?
No, not speaking of the Olympics. No,
on the U.S. basketball team.
We're not doing that here.
What the hell? What the hell is that?
I'm standing by. I'm ready to whatever minutes I need to. I consider it my patriotic duty if they need me.
If they need a stretch four, doesn't play defense. Yeah. Randy's your guy.
A 3 and no D guy. That's me.
Andy Sullivan -6.
You know who I'm most surprised to see in the top 12? Honestly,
Brooks.
Rahm. I kind of like
shot 64 today.
I know. I don't want to say wrote him off, but he kind of snuck up there this afternoon. He's parred the first 5 holes, birdied 6 and 7, birdied 9, birdied 13, birdied 14, birdied 15. Could have birdied a couple more coming in. He had some close calls. He could have threatened shooting 62 today. And Rahm's just like I don't know. He's like a buoy. Like you can't sink him. Like he.
That's a good.
I feel like he was wearing a weighted vest.
Got the shape of a buoy too.
Yeah. He was wearing a weighted vest and he shed it. And like, you just can't sink this guy. He does not go away. And even on a week where it doesn't feel like he has his best stuff, he's sitting right there. It's the cream rose this afternoon. Everything kind of happened there. Course got really benign there in the afternoon and the cream really rose. But
Randy, Paul Casey, you want to dog him anymore? You got anything else to say?
No, I don't have anything else to say except, it's just so typical of Paul Casey.
Yeah, he's just there, right? He's just hanging around.
I don't know.
He's lingering.
Yeah, I don't know who gets like excited by Paul Casey, but yeah, take it away. No thanks.
This was a very safe week to come out with your England not winning majors take. It's not going to happen. Very clearly not going to happen this week.
Well, it never happens. That's the whole point. Is it never happens? I
what
think
is it?
That's
Rose and Willett? Is that it?
Yeah,
Since
that's
Fowler?
it. since '96.
So basically, it's damning for Westwood, Fitzpatrick,
Donald.
Casey, Hatton,
Donald,
Wallace,
Casey,
Poulter,
Hatton. I mean, I don't think you can
Fleetwood.
dog Wallace for not winning a major yet. Relatively young guy. Fleetwood, yeah.
Ross Fisher. I'm looking at you.
God, he's naming names.
Richard Bland.
Yeah,
name the names.
Blandy's older than all these guys.
No. You leave Blandy out of this. He's literally playing the best golf in the world right now.
Andy Sullivan.
For sure, Andy Sullivan. David Howell.
Jack Sr.
Don't think I haven't forgotten about you.
It kind of dawned on me today. It was like, yeah, the only
Tom
Ryder
Lewis.
Cup the U.S. team has won in the last 12 years had Chris Wood and Andy Sullivan on the opposing team. Like, maybe that wasn't that great. Maybe that wasn't as great of a win as I would like to remember in 2016.
They got crowned.
I definitely got crowned. Brooks, not going anywhere. Another buoy, if you will. Can't sink him. 4 under today. He's sitting T12. Of course, he had to do it. Couldn't resist it. Love my driver. Gives a little smirk at Todd Lewis in the interview.
Was he talking about face, like the face of the driver too? Like, I love the face.
I didn't hear him say that. Okay. I missed that, but
yeah, he just couldn't help himself.
He's
a bully. He's bullying Bryson.
Can we talk about the big news out of that? Tell us what happened.
Brandel blocked me finally.
What did you do?
I just said, Brandel had gone all in on, Brooks is bullying Bryson, da. And then, Brandel said, ha, that was pretty funny. Like what Brooks said. I said, oh, so that's not bullying? Like, all of a sudden it's funny now? It's not, you don't think it's bullying? Just kind of throwing his own words back at him, and he just straight up blocked me. After all the shit that I've said to him about rollback and, all the stuff, he chooses to block me on this.
That was
straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah. That was among the dumbest takes, though, his bullying take.
It was in response to like riling up the crowd to harass Bryson in competition, which like I thought was as far as like past the line of what Brooks should push it. That was when he said that. So
some of the stuff he was going beyond that too with some other stuff. Just the whole back and forth, the whole media, like the Todd Lewis interview, all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
it was weak.
I would definitely put this in the camp of like clearly, like couldn't be more clear. Like this is the good-hearted fun that this thing should probably be about, right? I still think the Brooksy thing was dumb and the Mick Ultra thing was even more dumb, but this is like very obviously fair game.
Yeah. Anyway, I just, I feel like everybody's tweeting. I don't really like, it's just a funny little thing that he did on the side. I don't think it's worth digging
not that
into,
big a deal.
Mackenzie Hughes.
But the last thing I'll say on that was like, I was kind of disappointed in him because part of me thought like, all right, Brooksy, like major Brooksy is not going to stoop to this. Like the dude's on the cut line. He's not relevant to this tournament. And like, this is supposed to be, you have 4 weeks
shit that he feeds off of.
Right. But you have 4 weeks a year where you show up and really try on the golf course. Like kind of like, don't.
But he like, that's his whole shtick, right? Is the whole like perceived slights and nobody,
It's
like,
true.
So, well, the thing that I thought was kind of bullshit from him was him going after Adam Schefter on Twitter afterwards.
Such a weird,
like at me. It's like, no, like Schefter, like he covers real athletes for a living, dog. like Patrick Willis or Bosa is not going to say like, yo, Schefter, like at me, dog.
It wasn't like a personal comment.
No,
it wasn't like he was talking shit.
About him. I
know.
No,
it's like
it's really weird.
He's trying to get that, like that made it as clear as possible that how much Brooks cares about this pip. Like
Porath called it a Pippi Longstocking play.
Social media mentions from a huge following football account is probably like going to move the needle a lot more than anything that happens in the actual golf world. So
I was impressed. I thought Cam Smith played better than his score indicated today. Just a couple loose holes, made 4 bogeys, shot 67 with 4 bogeys. Just dog. He's 100% dog, 100% coyote, dingo, whatever you want to call it. It's just he's just getting the most out of his round, hanging out, sticking around. A little bit disappointing from Harmon today. +1.
So
University of Georgia.
Tee times are out tomorrow. We got Louis and Morikawa out at 3:55 p.m. local time. Spieth and Fratelli out at 3:45. DJ and Scheffler. Then Van Tonder and Grillo.
Can we do these mountain time for Randy?
All right. So Marcel Siem, Andy Sullivan, Justin Harding, Paul Casey, Koepka and Mackenzie Hughes, Rahm and Tringali. I did not realize Ryan Fox was up there. Finau and Ryan Fox. Corey Connors, Cameron Smith, Danny Willett, Brian Harmon, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, let's play How Far Back is Too Far Back.
Hold on. I mean, Shane, I want to give a shout out to Shane Lowry. That was 65 today.
Sugar Shane.
Up to T17. Let's see here. Who else? Expected a little bit more from Sergio today. 1 under par, three under for the week.
You know who I was disappointed
Simpson
by?
gave a couple back today.
Exactly. Webb. And you know what? I think that's a direct result of the course playing too easy. I think the easier the setup, the worse he plays.
Just loses focus or doesn't have the same advantage of being
exactly
inaccurate. I was just livid with Fleetwood today. +1.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
He's still going to be on the flight to Vegas when our team goes when we win the DraftKings pool.
You know who shot 66 today?
Chez
making the cut. T31. Westwood, very good round from Westwood too.
You know who did not shoot 66 today? Stuart Sink shot a 77 today and missed the cut after all of our praise that we gave him yesterday. So this is why we can't have nice things.
Anybody know anything about this German kid, Matthias Schmid?
I can't say
shot
I do.
65 today. And then let's see, we got JT.
A couple more guys I was disappointed in, Tron. Victor. Yeah, exactly. Not a good round. I thought Joaquin would make a move. And Xander. Not a great week for Xander.
He's not done, right? He made the cut, right?
He made the cut. He's even.
Who's the biggest name that missed the cut? I was trying to think of it. Like not a lot of big names missed the cut.
You got Big Leash, which shout out to Big Leash. He putted with he made 2 birdies. He was 2 or 3 under with his wedge. With his wedge.
Nobody hates this more than I do, TC. But yesterday you said, tomorrow when he misses the cut, I'll apologize.
I'm apologizing on behalf of Big Leash and Maddie. But I will say that maybe he should have broken his putter earlier. I mean that was he birdied 18. 17 and 18.
I hate to have to drag it out of you. I kind of thought you'd come to the table after, bring it to your attention yesterday. I thought you would have come to the table and been prepared to apologize.
Hatton did not play well all week. Hatton missed the cut. That's probably
Can't lay up there too is the biggest names to miss the cut.
Randy, we were talking about it yesterday. He just doesn't do anything for me.
No, he stinks.
P missed the cut.
Randy, who's leading the FedEx Cup? We did this last night.
I have no idea.
Can't lay.
But that son of the FedEx Cup because he's just such a non-factor in majors.
This is accurate. P missing the cut.
Haotong. I'd say Haotong might be the biggest name to miss.
I mean, if we're talking about just straight up, awareness,
most popular.
Disappointed in the
PGA
schlong.
champ.
Yeah. Do you have any apologies you want to make, Randy?
No, I think he was a couple bounces, couple burned edges on Thursday. I mean, he'd be right there.
What was your pick? What was your
this week?
What was your Phil pick this week?
I picked him to win.
Oh, okay, that's right. I couldn't.
I thought that was a good pick.
Yeah, me too.
Won this week. Listen,
Adam Long, he was not the low schlong. Joe Long, the amateur, snuck in.
he schlonged the schlong.
There were some takes flying around this morning when Will Zalatoris announced that he was withdrawing due to injury that he received on the 15th hole.
I don't think anybody dislikes Will Zalatoris.
No, like rough takes, like takes about the rough of the like injury-inducing rough. Which
also some bad takes.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't pretend to know exactly how to maintain fescue rough. But from what I've heard, it's been like the perfect storm of inability, a baked out last couple of years and a really wet this year means it's really tough to maintain, unable to mow it, haven't been able to mow it in 2 years or something like that.
Rubber the green.
And I don't know. I think there's something too, like you can't, like really long rough consistently is going to injure players and not be a great thing. And at the same time, like, yeah, this 1 week out of the year, this is probably going to happen. And if you try to do too much out of this rough and you injure yourself, it's kind of
play within yourself.
Yeah.
I know. Absolutely no sympathy for takes.
Well, and I don't know. I think with Zalatoris too, like, I don't think anybody wants to see the guy, like, regarding the putt yesterday, I don't think anybody wants to see the guy not succeed. Like, I'm rooting like crazy for him. And the kid hit a bad putt. He hit a few of those at Augusta too, where like the face just like doesn't even.
Imagine like tuning in to watch the greatest players in the world and watching something so like amazingly. It's like if an NBA player airballed a free throw and got it a quarter of the way there, like, wouldn't that go viral and like be worthy of commentary? Like, of course it was like a big deal that Zalatoris did that yesterday. Yes,
they make blooper reels in every other sport, and that's what I was going to say about the rough. Like, if golfers want to be athletes, then give me a break on, the rough is too long, they might get injured. We can't. He hit a bad putt, we got to be nice to him. Like, get out of here with that. That's so soft.
Totally agree. I'm just scrolling through stuff. Brandon Grace missed the cut. Made an 8 on the 9th hole today.
He made a mess out of that one.
Tough.
Before, if we're scrolling that far, we skipped a key name that I do want to discuss. And if you want to abstain from this conversation, then you're welcome to.
Ryan Palmer.
Rory McIlroy shoots another 70, even par. And when asked after the round if he's trying hard to win one, he said, quote, "Not at all. I've got 4 of these. Geez, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to do what I love for a living. I have a beautiful family. My life is absolutely perfect at the minute. I want for nothing. So it's not a case of trying too hard for sure." Randy, what's your reaction to that?
It's a beautiful, what a lucky guy he is, and how lucky he is to have that perspective. I think it's a beautiful, honest response. I have no issue with that at all.
Okay. I have a little issue with it. Like,
why?
It seems like he's lying to himself a little bit, right?
It doesn't. I appreciate like
the candor.
Yes. Okay. Once you get home, like leaving a disappointing round of golf or whatever at the course and enjoying the rest of your life, I'm there. I feel like if this is accurate, he's very stuck in between with like what he wants in life. Like for me personally, I can't picture if you've already got all the money in the world, like more money than you could spend. Your money is earning money for you at this point. Why travel the world and compete and be half in it? And I'm not saying he's half in it, but like this is at least like he would not make this quote if he was when he was 23 years old.
You're saying he might have too much perspective.
Maybe a bit too much perspective. Like I don't know.
Well, what do you?
Maybe I'm reading too into it.
Though, yeah. What like we. What
it's a so I'm going to bring this up. This is a little bit different. This is in relation to a question I asked Jordan Spieth about money. So it's not a direct translation. Rory's talking about family. The question I asked Rory or Spieth was just kind of like, hey, when you're struggling, you've made it big time financially. Like, how do you reconcile those two? And his quote like just stuck with me, and it was exactly what I wanted to hear. He said, "It's such a crutch to lean on in such an unhealthy way. If you're struggling and you're like, oh, it's fine, I'm not going to have to worry about money. It's no big deal. It's such a crutch and it's such an inhibitor to actually getting out of a funk." And like contrasting those two statements today was kind of like, okay, like, I don't know, like that made me less hopeful in Rory going forward. That's for sure.
I think Rory just doesn't have any dog in him.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's what it comes down to. It seems like when he's on, and when everything's going well, he's a killer, but he just doesn't, he's just not a dog.
Like, I think two things can be true. I think everything he said is like having that good perspective on life is very healthy, very good thing, and something I would like. I'm not disagreeing with any of that, but if he's actually internally justifying, like, I just don't believe him in this, in terms of that this doesn't bother him, that he's not playing well in majors and not competing at the highest level anymore. I don't believe that for a second.
Well, but I guess that wasn't really the question, though, right? Because I agree with what you're saying, and I'm sure it bothers him. But I think the question, as I understand it, was like, are you playing because you're playing too hard? And he, like, I don't know. I get this and say the way I took it was like, are you pressing because you're just trying too hard? And he's like, it's not really,
which is a different thing, right? Yeah.
Which I don't think he answered that question either. Then, right? He's talking about something totally different when asked if trying too hard. I don't know. Am I reading it too far into it?
I'm just tired of them like showing every shot of his breathlessly and like expecting a different result. Like we're to the point with Rory where like he needs to show us something, right? Like he needs to re-earn that. Like I get that he's won 4 majors, but at this point, like, you know, not recently, right? There's other players that are more deserving of breathless, nonstop coverage, in my opinion.
I don't know. I don't know. I still kind of want to see it. Yeah, you're right. It's the same thing.
It's like so fucking frustrating watching him, like, just, you know, come up short with wedges or miss these putts that it's like, yo, like we were talking about it yesterday with like momentum, right? Just like establish a little bit more momentum or be a little bit more of a dog when like it's not going to be a perfect swing every time, and figure out how to get the ball in the hole.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I realize it's like I'm Tron Carter, like 4 handicap telling Rory McIlroy this, but like, you know, but I think at some point, like we've appreciated his greatness, and, you know, but it's like, it's like his game needs to evolve a little bit, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he's almost a shot worse strokes gain wise than he was in 2019 at this point, with decreases in pretty much every category. So what are you going to say, Randy?
No, it's just, you know, it's just, I think everybody just gets frustrated because he has so many gifts and has such great talent and ability. It's hard to watch people when those pieces don't come together. I think people just, I feel like, and nothing against him personally, even, it's like I feel like we all feel a little bit robbed of being able to watch somebody at the height of their abilities do great things. And it's just a shame, you know. It's like
a compliment. It's a weird compliment.
Exactly.
That, like,
that's what I'm saying.
The guy succeed.
Yes.
You like him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like I root for swaggy Rory, right? And it's honestly been like a long time since we've seen swaggy Rory. So it's like hard to root for the Rory that we see on TV now. And again, it's kind of a circular thing. It's not like you can't just go out and fake swagginess if your game isn't there. I don't know, the comforting fact of that is similar to Spieth when Spieth was not playing well. It's like the bottom didn't fall out.
It's like he knows it's still in there.
Yeah, it wasn't like he's, you know, fallen outside the top 200 in the world or anything like that, or completely lost his game. It's not a Stenson style, you know, fall off the map of any kind. That's just kind of what makes it really frustrating. Is that like you can keep convincing yourself it's kind of close, and then it really just isn't. So.
Guys, I'm getting word. Harris English shot 65 today.
Shot 30 on the back.
Flushing the ball, Randy.
Home game.
God, home game. He could be vying for low Englishman this weekend.
A couple more questions we got. Joey Cucks MSU. Will they get hyper aggressive with the pins tomorrow to save face?
No, I don't think
no,
so.
I would imagine that they dial it up. Like, I feel like the RNA just stays out of the way, right? They don't want to be the story ever. They'll dial it up a little bit more.
I wouldn't say it's to save face. I don't think they care that much about the winning score or anything like that. But I think they're probably acknowledging it's time to introduce a little bite to this championship, whatever that may be.
They got to turn on the stub airs, baby. Get them humming tonight.
Can we talk Bryson strategy today?
Sure.
Did he change? I didn't watch too much of his round. Did he change up his strategy much, or just keep wailing on the driver? Or?
I didn't see every shot, but it did not feel like he hit as many drivers as he did yesterday, which makes a lot of sense because
the driver sucks.
I don't know if it was a fuck you to Cobra to do that, or if it was like you know what? I don't know if that strategy is best. He played today strategy-wise a lot more like I thought he would, right? Okay. I mean, you can hit hybrids and stuff off these tees, get it running, and play your game and still succeed on this golf course. And he didn't have a great day, but he made the cut on the number. Yeah, shot even. And
he's playing with the gooch tomorrow.
But yeah, I have nothing noteworthy to happen. He would have had a pretty decent day if not for that. I think he made double when he hit in that bunker on the green on the hole in the back nine.
He finished at +1. I was hoping. He made
bogey.
Bogey. Yeah.
10. Okay.
I was hoping he was going to play with the bullet. The bullet could give Bryson a little dose of perspective, I think.
Two physical specimens. How about that streaker segment this afternoon? Did you guys catch that?
I caught the tail end of it.
That was fun. Yeah. Streakers are fun. I remember when I was
poorly
young.
timed, but it was a good segment.
Yeah. I think that's right. And I think streakers are fun. I think we need more streakers back in sports.
I'm not disagreeing that we celebrate every time that it happens. When you're already interrupting for a lot of commercials and you're going away to segments that involve streakers, really just so Peter Jacobson can come in and tell his streaker story of tackling one.
Jake's takes, baby.
That's where I kind of have to draw the line. But
there was a couple really, really cool camera shots I want to point out from yesterday and today. There was one behind Morikawa, and they did it a couple times yesterday. I didn't see it as much today. Like super low shot, and then you could really see the impact, and then see the ball against the sky. It's just something that they don't normally get that artsy in the States. And then there was one of Dustin Johnson today, putting with the stands in the background, and you could really see the slope of the green. Like that was
and you could see all the people up on the hill and whatnot.
It was cool.
This golf course, it can look very, very boring from an aerial view, right? There's a
lot of towers out there.
The more down to the ground level cameras you get of seeing some of the slopes they're dealing with, it comes alive at least a little bit more than it probably does from the higher ones. So,
we're gonna get just destroyed by our Irish friends if we don't shout out Seamus Power. Who's currently T2 in Northern Kentucky in Lexington there at the Barbasol. Shot 68 today. He's playing some of the best
hottest player in the world. Shipman Carter says, will the final score be lower than -20? I'm going to go with no on that.
No, I don't think so.
I think 16 will win.
I'll go with, I think 16 is probably a playoff. I think 17 or 18 wins.
Wow. How far back is too far back? It's time.
Oh, I got a great answer. I feel really good about my answer.
Okay.
What is it? Or do you want me to save it?
Go ahead.
I think anybody 6 under or worse is too far back.
So including the guys at 6 under.
Including 6 under.
So it's a 6-man race.
And some of that's just because of the guys at 6 under.
Actually,
you don't believe in, right?
Well, and more of the guys at 7 and better.
Okay, so you're basically ruling out Koepka at 5, Rahm at 5, Big Tone at 4.
I'd say 4 is too far back. I'll start it at 4. Because Rahm could win this thing still.
Yeah, I think tomorrow somebody could go out and shoot 63 tomorrow and be, granted they'd have to back it up with a 65 or 66, but like what's Data Golf saying as far as
Rahm's winning percentage as of right now is 4.8%, which is like, it's basically like what the third best guy comes in with to the tournament. Data Golf also loves the shit out of Rahm. Winning percentage for Louis, 34%.
What does it say for Koepka?
Koepka is 2.7%.
Okay.
But you got to remember these models too, like keep track of your game throughout the whole year. And Koepka, the models never really love Koepka that much because he just doesn't play nearly as good. Morikawa 17%, Spieth 12.4%, DJ 7.3%, Scheffler 5.6%. Paul Casey, of course, coming in at 1.7%. That seems high. Fratelli 1.5%, Grillo 1.3%, Smith and Finau 1.0%. Anything else?
What's going on in the U.S. junior girls?
Oh my gosh, they're in extra holes right now.
Don't tell me Rose is in extra holes.
Yeah, the Paula Miranda from Mexico.
Wow.
Crazy.
Did not see that coming.
Let's see. Man, that's not good. Rose won this morning, 5 and 4.
Well, it might be Miranda's playing some exceptional golf.
I got another good question that came from B. DeMungo. Which announcer will make the tone deaf? Grillo is inspired by fellow countryman Angel Cabrera comment, and why is it Azinger?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm looking at Paula Miranda. Yeah, she's going to the University of Iowa. Letter of intent.
I mean, Rose isn't making bogeys. I don't think she didn't make a single bogey in regulation. She just Miranda's just beating her with birdies. So that's wild. And then it's just an absolute shootout in the land of Lincoln. Guys are going so deep in the capital of Illinois and Springfield. And then I'm a little bit worried, Randy. The Jutana Garden sisters, they were 2 over at the turn today. One over. Are they playing alt shot today? Or are they playing?
I would assume it's alt shot today.
Shot. Yeah, today's alt shot.
Yeah, so they birdied 5 and then bogeyed 6, 8, and 9. They've since gotten one back, but Lee 6 was leading for a little bit there. But yeah, it's a Thai woman I've never heard of before, and Aditi Ashok are currently leading.
We got a comment here from Pops Barrington that says you guys need to do live between round bets for the DraftKings thing during majors. So if we're looking at the live odds, are we still? You're still sticking with Spieth plus 400?
Do we have 100 nuggies?
Sure.
All right.
Fake. This is fake. This is not actually
100
count.
nuggies. I'm going 50 on Spieth
At plus 400.
Yeah, and then I'm going 50 on DJ.
I would follow
Just
you into
I
that
think
battle.
that's where the upside is.
I would follow you into that battle. DJ's plus 800 going into tomorrow. How about we can talk about Tyrrell. Tyrrell had a day today.
That was great.
Which one?
What did he say?
It was fucking bullocks. He flicked somebody off.
Absolute fucking bullocks.
Yeah. It's like,
to the best fans in golf, he did that.
I don't know if it was to a
Scots.
fan or it might have been to Bryson. Yeah. Who knows who was back there? But that was great. And then just took him 2 attempts to break it, but finally broke one of his clubs on the back 9. Just full on snap, all caught on camera.
A lot of club breaking day. Leash.
Did you get the leash story? How he broke his putter?
No, I didn't.
It does not seem like a leash thing.
I know he did it on 10. Well, I think he putted that bad yesterday, and then first 9 today. I just know he did it on 10. And then Matt Every tossed his putter in a lake today.
God,
at the Barbasol.
A lot of people out there need some CBD, man. We need to just calm down
a little bit. So, Hatton's sweet, man. I'm a fan.
Somebody pointed this out today. It was like very much, gosh, if Bryson had done any of this stuff, how much we would have just like railed on it. Hatton does like, look at Hatton. He's fun.
It's like, he's British. He's got an accent.
I know. It did work for me.
He knows how to cuss well. He knows how to.
For some reason, it's funny when Tyrrell does it.
He's got
Bryson,
flair.
Yeah. Do British people love Tyrrell too? Or is it like, I don't know. You see what I'm getting at there? Like, if you see him too often, are you sick of him? And we just think it's funny when he comes over and does this?
Randy, you speak for all the Brits out there. What do you think?
No, I speak power to the Brits. I'm the only one telling it like it is. I have no idea. I don't know.
I hadn't thought of it this way from Jack Warner, because Hatton isn't a fuck is a really great way of putting it. So British
couldn't have said it better myself.
Pops Jack. Barrington again. British blokes hate Tyrrell. Did not know that. Or I don't know if that's a popular.
Randy, you going after the Brits is very very off brand for you, being from Marymount, and I know you guys are loyal to the Queen. You grew up, you grew up in a very Queen fearing household.
Listen, we're all Protestants here. I take no pleasure in doing it, TC. That's what you have to understand. It gives me absolutely no pleasure to do so. It needed to be said. And so it's my duty. I said fiduciary duty to people out there to just tell it like it is.
I love.
I saw Luke Donald. Luke Donald's a disgrace. He kind of escaped some earlier heat. He's a massive disgrace for never winning a major.
The comments rolling through on Hatton just like typifies social media. No, they don't. Tyrrell is class. And then the very next one from Mike. Hatton sucks.
I wouldn't say he's class.
Yeah, it's very polarizing.
Hatton equals bobbins. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
All right. I think I'm about wrapped. Anything else, guys? I shouldn't open that up because this is where TC adds like 8 more things to it.
So. No, I'm actually good today.
Okay.
I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
All right. Safe trip.
Thank you. I'm flying with my 4.5-year-old, so we'll see how that goes.
He's going to love it. So big. Have a wonderful Friday afternoon and evening out in Denver. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you back here around the same time tomorrow. Cheers.